What it do, good people? What it do, babe?
What it do?
Listen, thank you for joining us for episode 2 of The Married Life. And do us a quick favor real quick, right? If you haven't hit that subscribe button or that bell notification, click below, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you can get the latest episodes of The Married Life and everything else that we plan to drop this year. You don't want to miss it. If you're new to the channel, I'm Fernando's, known as FL, the life coach, and this is the lovely
Chandra.
AKA my boo thing. That's what I call her. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to deal with disappointment, good people. 25 years together, 25 years married. 27 years together.
Yeah.
We've encountered our fair share of disappointment. But let me preference that by saying this. I've never disappointed her. I've always had to deal with all of the disappointment. Ain't that right, babe? See that face? Nah, I'm just playing.
You're probably going to get used to
I'm just playing. But listen, in this video today, we will be discussing how we, in 25 years, had to learn how to handle disappointment. Let's just jump right into it. How do we learn how to handle it, babe? You want me to start? You want me to start? She want me to start. So listen.
Since you're the only one that deals with disappointment.
Listen,
Go ahead.
I'm going to tell y'all how to handle it because, like I said, I've been the one dealing with it for 25 years. She's never had to deal with disappointment at all from this face. You see this face? I've disappointed you? Listen, this is how we've handled it. I've handled it personally. We've even had tough conversations about it. But the way to handle disappointment is to manage it, right? Hear me out. This is from our own experience, right? Whatever you don't manage, it dies, correct? Just like money. To manage your money means to know how to utilize it, put it in the right places so you can earn more money. To manage your time means to be intentional about it so you can free up more time to do the things that you love. In a relationship of any kind, especially a romantic long-term marriage, you have to learn how to manage the disappointment. You have to understand what is real disappointment and what's in your head disappointment. Right, babe? Listen, this is the difference when we say real disappointment. We're talking about disappointment to where somebody, say your spouse, has told you something that they were going to do, so you expect them to do that, and then for whatever reason, it doesn't happen. That's a real disappointment, right? Now, a disappointment that's happening in your own head that I had to decipher through along this journey and that we had to decipher through along this journey, but you'll get her perspective about it later. But we've had these conversations before. That's why I keep saying we. The difference was it was expectations that I've placed on my spouse or on her or on the kids or anybody that I'm in relationship. Oh, like that?
Did you hear that?
Like that? What?
The other person's expectations caused the disappointment.
What?
Did you hear that?
My expectations? She is a comedian, if y'all ain't figured out yet. So,
No,
truly.
He is.
Oh, I am? So we both comedians? We just need to take this act on the road?
On the road.
Well, let's do it then. Married Life coming to a city near you, baby. But listen, managing disappointment is critical. It's critical. Like I said, because most disappointments happen in relationships, they're not real. They're in your own head because you've placed the expectation on your partner or on your kids or on anybody that you're in a relationship. Babe, you know what? I'm going to let you talk about that little expectation. I'm going to let you talk about that a little bit.
Member.
Come on.
Expectations happen in other things than the marriage, but that's what we're talking about the most. I have expectations of him and he's had expectations of me and we didn't meet those expectations.
Not even close.
And it could have caused an issue because we were expecting something different.
Yes. No, that's true, man. The only expectation you can ever have is for yourself. Because you can control 100% of you. I can't control my wife. I can't control my kids. I can't control other people that I'm in relationships with. I heard this quote years ago, and that quote kind of changed us when it says, expectations ruins relationships. Yes. When I first heard that, I was like, oh, that's not true. What do you mean? You should expect this and that from your partner and all this other stuff. But as I got older and we start building more equity within our marriage, I started to really see that 95% of my disappointments came from me expecting my wife or my children or anybody else that I'm in relationship with to respond or do the things that I would do in that situation. That's number one, good people. You gotta drop the expectations. You gotta allow your partner, your spouse, your children, whoever it is that you're in relationship with, to just fully unfold as themselves. And then you have to make a conscious decision how you respond to that, right? And so, man, expectations has caused a lot of disappointments for me. I can only speak for me, then I'll let her speak, but I can only speak for me. And then I had to decipher through that. Is that a real disappointment? Or is that me being in my own head because I'm expecting her to react like me or respond like me or do it like I would do it? And so in our early beginning stages in our marriage, that was a big deal, because disappointment was running rapid, right? And through the years of doing marriage coaching, we've coached a lot of couples. And one of the things we found that forms the wedges or the walls between the couples is unrealistic expectations.
Ooh, those expectations are
killer. Especially, and I would say this, and I don't know if my wife agrees, we'll see, but especially the expectations, I would say, coming from the woman to the man. Would you agree with that or no? No? Oh, I guess not.
I think it's pretty even.
I don't think it's even. But I feel it. I feel what she's saying, because in our own experience that we've talked to several couples, sometimes it felt like that the woman can have unrealistic expectations of what they expect from a man. But you say no. I want you to talk about that a little bit.
For me, it just goes both ways. I feel like you've had super high expectations of me that didn't happen, and of our kids at certain points, and we both have had that with each other and with our children. To me, it's pretty even.
Well, I agree with that with us, with the expectation with us, but I'm saying in our experience when we've coached other couples, what would you say? Would you say it was more the man expecting more of the woman, or the woman expecting, you just said equal. Again, pretty even playing field. There it is. And that's what I love. And that's what I love about it, man. That's what makes us so united together, because we allow each other just to be ourselves. That's the beauty of our relationship, man. She has a totally different perspective and totally different outlook about things in life, and I love it. And we just kind of bring it to the table.
That's where, again, some people don't value that from the other person.
Yes.
That could be another disappointment.
Talk about it, babe.
So there's a lot of ways you could be disappointed with another person. But again, it just boils down to you can't have expectations of another person. You just can't.
That's so true. Like she said, it's a lot of ways that can unfold in a relationship. But like she said, at the end of the day, the expectation has to be from you putting something on yourself, right? And then you can hold yourself to that higher standard or that expectation, but not other people.
And again, the key too is you got to recognize if you're disappointed about something, you have to evaluate your disappointment and say, hey, maybe I had some expectations of another individual that I cannot control.
True. So true.
But you got to recognize your expectations are on a whole nother level than what that person is even capable of doing.
True.
Sometimes people are not capable of meeting your expectations, and you have to learn to be okay with that.
That is it, man. You have to. Like she said, I'm going to piggyback on that. You have to learn to be okay with that, because in a relationship or a marriage, it's two people growing, coming together, right? So different viewpoints, different experiences in life,
and
changing and all that. If you try to put an expectation on somebody, they're going to disappoint you, right? Because they're not you. See, that's the thing. That's the thing that we had to realize. She's
I
not
am
me.
not him.
And
He is not me.
that's it. And we had to really realize that because early on in our relationship, I expected her to be me.
I expected that man to get 2 plates down when we got married.
And that caused some disappointment.
It sure did.
See, that caused some disappointment.
And when he did not get those 2 plates down, I was disappointed.
See, and I expected my wife to process things like I did. Like we said in the past video, I'm the thinker, right? Not saying that she's not a thinker. I'm the communicator, but also I'm a thinker. I'm a critical thinker. My wife is not necessarily a critical thinker like that, even though she uses her mind and all that stuff. But see, there we go. See that? She know what I'm saying. You see how she be? But what I'm trying to say is I can get lost in my thoughts.
Oh.
Right? I can get lost in my thoughts. I see things from all angles. I think about it. I think about what's going to happen if we do it like this, if we do it like this angle. And my wife will tell you.
Sometimes I'm like, can we turn this behind your brain off for a minute, please?
See, and I expected her to be like that.
And I do not.
In our beginning stages of
my
marriage.
My mind can be totally blank at times.
And I'm like, how your mind blank? You ain't thinking about nothing? What you mean you ain't thinking about nothing? How you ain't thinking about nothing? And she's like, babe, my mind is blank. And here I am, my mind just turning. That's another expectation that I had to learn to drop because she's not me and I'm not her. I just had to embrace her fully for who she is and what she brings to the table. And that's when the relationship really got fun, good people, because I really start honoring her gifts, her talents, her abilities, right? And start saying, oh, baby, I tell you this all the time, man. This ain't camera talk. I tell you this all the time, boo thing. And when I really started to see that and utilize that, our relationship went to another level, man, because I dropped the expectation. Right. Then I learned how to manage the disappointment, right? Managing it. Like I said, you have to learn how to manage anything in life or it dies. As a pro athlete, I play sports, and some for my sports players out there, you know that if you play a grueling season, you have to learn how to manage pain. Because at some point during the season, you're going to get hurt. Injury and being hurt is totally different. But at some point, you're going to get dinged up, banged up. And if you don't learn how to manage that pain, then you're not going to be very effective. Same way in a relationship, right? You got to learn how to manage that disappointment or the relationship is not going to be very effective, right? Because now as those disappointments build up, and then they turn into bitterness. Then it turns into resentment. And then it turns into anger. Now you're building this wall between you and that person.
Mad.
Just mad. Just looking at you like this. Mad.
Another person has no clue what's going on.
They say, how's your day today? You should know how my day is because I'm still mad because I'm disappointed because of expectations that I thought she should have responded or acted like. Disappointments really do kill a marriage.
Right.
If you don't handle them or manage them right.
Yes.
From our own experience, that's kind of how we've been able to navigate through the disappointing seasons in our life. And I won't even say seasons, just the disappointing moments, man. I wouldn't say it's never been a season where I've been disappointed at my wife or anything like that. That's just me personally. I'm not saying other marriages might not experience a season of disappointment because we've talked and coached marriages who's been in a season of disappointment with each other that's
only
lasted.
A season because they're not figuring out how to handle it.
Yes, how to handle it.
So it's just going on for an extended period of time.
Yes, because they don't learn how to, like she said, handle it or manage it or talk about it. Even some disappointments we've had, even though I had to ask myself if they're real or not, but then I still had to have a conversation with my wife about those disappointments, right? That's another way that we've learned to handle or manage our disappointments. The first way, like we explained, dropping the expectation, right? But then the second way is to talk about it. Like, it's okay. And guys, hear me when I say this. This is for my fellas. Hear me when I say this. It doesn't make you weak or soft to talk about your feelings or your disappointments with your spouse. Stop thinking that makes you weak because you know how to express your emotions the correct way. Because you're vulnerable. Vulnerability is like a strength. Vulnerability is a superpower.
Right. If anything, the woman's going to love it.
Yes.
And appreciate it.
Yes. That's so true. You love and appreciate when I do it, babe? You love and
And
appreciate it.
appreciate it.
There it is. Fellas, I'm telling you, you get you some bonus points if you start doing that. But real talk, because I know most fellas have a hard time of expressing
bottle it
themselves
in, yeah.
and bottling it in and not want to talk about it.
But once again, we are opposite.
How opposite? How opposite, babe?
You are more like the woman in that area. I am more like the man. I tend to bottle up. I tend to keep it in and then explode.
True. That is true. We are opposite roles.
Right.
That's true. But my baby done a good job over 25
come a long
years.
ways.
Come a long way.
Come a long ways.
And I feel like I've come a long way being able to do the things that I was short-ended on. Affection. What else? Affection just never was my thing. But that's a whole nother video. I'm going to say that for a whole nother topic. A disappointment? Yes, it was. Yes. Like, get off me. Get off me. Get off me. You don't know me like that. Get off me.
And then with him, my lack of being able to communicate effectively was a disappointment.
For me.
And as we just both have been getting better because we know each other's likes now, we have gotten better with handling the disappointment, but also compromising and giving each other what we need.
That's it. That's it, man. Compromise, learning each other, understanding that my wife needs XYZ. Mm-hmm. So then I have a choice to make at that moment. When she's able to identify her needs. See, this is what self-awareness does too. This is what Dirty BU is all about, good people. It's not just showing up, being authentic, going after the bag. It's being authentic in every area of your life. It's being vulnerable in every area of your life. When my wife starts to express those needs, or I start to express my needs with my wife, then she has the choice to make, right? Because at that moment, then the ball is in her court or my court, right? Because you make time for things that are important to you. So if your spouse is expressing to you, hey, I need XYZ. This is like my love language or how I communicate love or whatever it is, then it's on you to be able to compromise and say, hey, it's important to them, so it needs to be important to me. The disappointment did come early on because I expected for her to communicate like I did. Like I said, what? How you mean you don't want to talk about it? What you mean you don't want to talk about it? What you mean? I used to be like, here we go. Here we go, man. Is that how I used to do, man? I used to be like, here we go with the disappointment. Those are just some of the ways that we kind of just learned how to manage it, good people. Number one, like I said, you got to drop the expectations. Number two, then you have to understand that when you do drop the expectations, you allow your other partner or your partner to be who they are. And then you just have to come to it with a conscious mind and make a conscious decision how you respond. Because they're not going to do things like you do them. They're just not. That's an unrealistic expectation. Even in parenting, we had this conversation just the other day with our boys.
Parenting is its own subject.
And that's a whole subject, but just this quick part.
We're going to have to record on that another time.
We're going to have to record on that, babe. That's true, though. But just this little quick part about the disappointment, because we expect our 11, 8, and 6-year-old to respond like a 40-year-old. Like adults, right? And then we get disappointment, huh, babe? Do we? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Once again, what's the key denominator in this? Expectation. The person expecting that disappointed is expecting the other person to respond like them. That's the main thing on how to manage.
Self-awareness of why you're disappointed.
Yes.
Because your expectations of another person. I think that's what it boils down to. Self-awareness. When you get disappointed, reflect back.
Yes.
Why am I disappointed?
Yes.
I'm disappointed because my expectations might have been a little unrealistic for the other person.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. For the other person. See, I like the way you said that. For the other person. Those expectations are not unrealistic for me.
For yourself.
Right. But for somebody else, they could be. Just drop the expectation, and then you just have to manage it, right? Understand the second part of that is to manage it, to understand what's a real disappointment and what's in your head. And like I explained earlier, a real disappointment is something that somebody's telling you.
They're gonna do.
That person tells you, your spouse tells you they're going to do it, in the time frame that they're going to do it, then you expect it at that point, and they don't do it. You have to learn how to manage those, right? Because you've told people before, and I know I have, I can't say you, let me say me. I know I've told this beautiful being right here that I was going to do things, and then I didn't quite.
2 weeks later, that light bulb.
2 weeks? Oh, come on now, babe. 2 weeks? 2 weeks? Come on now.
I changed the light bulbs.
Oh, you just telling all my business like that in the street? Oh, anyway, but no, that's seriously though, because I've told her I was gonna change the light bulbs and then never got around to it. Oops.
I don't start asking. I stopped asking.
Disappointment, right? Now, when I tell her I'm gonna do something, right, I don't put a date on it no more. Or when I do put a date on it, she can expect for me to do it at that time, right? I had to learn. That's a little marriage hack right there. For all you fellas out there, so when you tell your wife you're gonna do something, you might want to leave a date off of it. Leave it open-ended.
And be clear, I'm not putting a time frame on this. We don't get in our head, oh, he said he gonna do it. Let me put my time frame on.
That's real talk. That's real talk. See, and that's a real disappointment.
Right.
Because I told her that I would do it in this time frame, and then I didn't. So she expected it. That's what we mean by managing it. Understanding what is a real disappointment and understanding what's just all in your head. And 95% of it, I'm telling you, it's all in your head and the way you feel. We just wanted to drop this episode number 2 to just kind of let you know how to manage that disappointment and how we've done it and how we've handled it and just built a happy, lasting relationship, because you're going to have to learn how to manage disappointment or handle disappointment in any relationship that's going to last for a long period of time. Anything else you want to add to that, babe, before we wrap this up and get out of here, man?
Not on the disappointment. I think
we kind of handled it, Kate. Listen.
We should give a little headliner for our next video, so they can make sure they subscribe and be prepared. So
be prepared.
You could know when we gonna drop the one after this one.
What's the next video? We had a controversy topic, that 3-letter word. That 3-letter word. What's the 3-letter word? Oh, that's what we're gonna be talking about on the next video.
Yeah.
Put the kids away. On the next video, we're going to be talking about that 3, because she might say some stuff that you don't want your kids to hear. The next episode, beautiful, innocent, but she got something to say about that next subject though. So the next episode, that 3-letter word, we're going to be talking about sex, right? And how important sex is truly important for a relationship, especially a lasting relationship. With that being said, if you haven't already done it, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you can get these cool videos in our next episode of The Married Life. So until next time, good people, I'm FL, and this is the lovely
Chandra,
aka my boo thing. Listen, and we always spreading that peace and love, and twice on Sunday. We want y'all to go out there and track the life of your dreams. And listen, the next episode, we talking about that sex. And y'all already know what to do, good people. What they supposed to do, babe?
Dare to be you.
Dare to be you, good people.